State of mind is everything, and is the battleground for the dueling principalities in the spiritual realm. When we have issues here on earth within a relationship, for instance, we aren't battling the person so much as the demons in possession of that person. And when we think of demonic possession, the view many of us have comes from the movies, something grotesque and extreme like a spinning head and green vomit, like in The Exorcist. We think of demons as otherworldly and cartoonish, and they may be otherworldly, but they have a network so deep in this realm that they are very much of this world as well. And no, it's not spinning heads and green vomit that we have to worry about. It's quiet suggestions in the minds of those around you and in yourself that have the power to devastate one's life. Demons or the devil ain't jumping at you from behind a doorway or under a bed wearing horns and a red jumpsuit, but rather they infiltrate one's life through deception and other people. And they do this by suggesting thoughts which come wrapped in two truths and a lie. They know how to get inside a weakened target, and the life of sin does nothing but weaken and set our doors wide open for the demons to move right on in. In order for us to stay focused on God, focused on gratitude, focused on charity, focused on discipline, and the things which are pleasing to God and lead to a life of simplicity, love, light, and grace, we really can't afford to sin, at least not all day, every day. We will be forgiven if we ask for it, but not before we take a ride on the demonic hootenanny express, which starts out fun, but quickly turns into a nightmare. We determine our state of mind, and it's on us to follow the voices of gratitude and hope or the voices of resentment, despair, and anger, with a strong identification of being a victim of it all and helpless to do anything about it. And that right there is your spinning head and green vomit. When we house any thoughts along those lines, thoughts of being a victim rather than a creator, it's nothing more than shells and bombs and hand grenades on the battlefield of a spiritual war. The battlefield is our state of mind, and the only realm demons and angels are really interested in. That is how they exert their influence on this plane. And for me, this is important to realize because it goes a long way with motivating us to pay a maximum amount of attention to the thoughts in our head and to be extra sensitive as to where they are actually arriving from. People who think the spiritual realm is stuff of fairy tales still wouldn't be able to give you anything like a pragmatic or scientific explanation as to where thoughts come from. As long as humanity has been going, no one has a clue about the source of consciousness, really, or inspiration, or insight. And so, for me, it makes absolute rational sense that the thoughts we have are influenced from realms beyond our own that remain invisible and mysterious. On the face of it, they are invisible and mysterious. And when we look over the drama of all of our lives and the topsy-turvy nature of our relationships, it certainly points to the spiritual reality that I am speaking about here. In other words, when you break it down, it's not even that woo-woo of a concept, because even if we strip away the spiritual realm entirely, we are dealing with concepts that are rather woo-woo just on the very surface of them. All of life is woo-woo. It's just that some of us are out here pretending like it's not. And that everything can be explained with reason, even as reason itself remains absolutely mysterious. So back to our state of mind and what we can do about it to help us build the life we actually want. There is no doubt that demonic strongholds push us in the opposite direction of the life we want. They lock us in cages of justified resentment and victim identity. They urge us towards distraction and procrastination and batter our self-esteem by tricking us into behaviors which further trick us into a hardened belief that we don't deserve a fulfilling life. They waste our time in useless dramas with others who have also caved their will to them, and who have surrendered the battlefield of their minds to them, and who, consciously or unconsciously, are moved to try and inflict the same fate on everyone in their influence. This is the spitting head and green vomit. But with clarity about how all this operates, we empower ourselves to move in another direction, to align ourselves with the opposing forces, which means full responsibility for our lives, no form of victim identity, working daily on forgiveness and forgiving ourselves. After all, we are in a war. Leading our days with prayer, and not just when times get desperate, but all the time. Submitting ourselves to God and actively rebuking demonic influence. Massive action and discipline no matter our external circumstances. The life we want in the material plane has its roots in the spiritual. If we ignore that aspect of reality, we can spin our wheels relentlessly and still not get very far at all. Our will, out of alignment with the will of God, holds little power or any power at all. Our will aligned with either force in the spiritual realm holds quite a bit more. It's true, one could sell their soul and attract much abundance here, all the while being damned, or one could align themselves with God and do their best to live under His laws and tenets, and also create abundance that far outweighed the abundance of mere things. Jesus, for instance, never had much, but who could say He wasn't abundant? But to live a life like that means living beyond this world while still living in it, and amongst the chaos and confusion, the distraction and the fireworks. This obviously is rare and difficult. One needs strong faith and to be broken by this world before they even consider such measures. It means putting the spirit above the flesh, which is no small task, but also the way out of the prison gates.